G'day, welcome to first video on how to actually set up an ironing station so to get the best available system to enable you to iron your clothes effectively. So first of all, we have our ironing board. We'll have our iron, or in this case a steam station. We'll have some starch, some water, an atomizer, and also we have the other implements on the end here that help us out. We have a lighter, a nail clipper, and nail scissors, and also a permanent marker. Okay, with the ironing board itself, okay, to make sure that it's actually sturdy, the ironing cover is firm and free of dirt, and has no marks or ripples in it that will transfer itself onto the fabric. More on the ironing board later. With your iron, probably most important part, make sure it's a good quality iron. In this case we've got a steam station, which I rate highly. If you are going to invest in a steam station for your ironing, I suggest that strongly. To help us out with ironing, we have an atomizer with the water in it, a slight spray and dampness of the clothing, and improves the ability to get rid of wrinkles, and also to actually improve it, take it to the next level, use some starch, and I'll talk some more about starch in later videos. We have the implements here on the side, so the lighter, the nail clipper and the nail scissors are there to assist you in removing any threads that you find, especially if you're using on your uniforms or any other good formal wear that you use. Okay, and the permanent marker, that's more for the guys in uniform. You use that to mark your sets, so your trousers and your shirts you'll mark as a one set or as a two set, and also put your name on the inside as well. That allows you, when you throw them in the wash, you know which sets go with which, and they always match, and you don't look out of place. Right, so what we'll go on with now is we'll actually go and inspect the ironing board. There's a few things that we need to be aware of with the ironing board, and we'll cover that in a bit more detail. Right, so what we're going on with now is we're actually going to fix up the ironing board itself. I have noticed with this ironing board that it has some large wrinkles in the fabric, which transmit itself through onto the fabric while we're ironing. So we want to have ideally have a nice smooth surface and slightly cushioning this too. So we're going to, when we replace the cover, we're actually going to move in and take out the felt backing and replace that with a new set as well. So ironing boards basically come with two types of backing. You can either have a foam, which are in the cheaper sort of covers, or a felt backing, which really belongs to a more upmarket or quality ironing setup. So we're going to place the backing on that. So felt, if you can get it, is the best to have. The other thing, whilst we're making some amendments to the ironing board, is I'm going to actually remove the ironing board cover, so this part here. So I find that the garment, when it sits in on the square end of the ironing board, it actually sits up a bit and interferes with the technique that I use to iron. So while I'm at replacing the cover, I'll actually take this the ironing board holder off, and the frame will fold in there and it'll be completely out of the way. So to remove that, there are 4 screws on this type of system. There's 4 screws that hold the actual holder onto the frame, and then you just unclip it and remove it, and then as you can see, the frame sits in there out of the way and doesn't interfere with your ironing. So that's the next phase. We'll replace this, the felt backing, and then we're good to go. Okay, here we are with the next phase. What we're going to do now is we've got our new piece of felt, and we're going to use the old felt, so don't piff that, keep that, use that as a template, and using your marker pen just around the outside to get the right size for your ironing board, because it fit well, this old piece, but it's a bit past its use by date, so it did fit well on the ironing board. So I'll use this as a template, go around the outside, cut it out for the new piece of felt, and then I can place that onto the ironing board and then place the new cover on. Okay, so we've we've cut around the felt cover, and as you can see, the template that we used from the old felt cover we've marked out in the black pen, and then I've cut, I've given it a good margin around there. So what I want is for the felt to actually sit over the corner of the ironing board, so there's no chance that the ironing board cover, the ironing board frame itself will transmit through onto the fabric. So there's a good tip for you. Always give, if I would probably cut this out again, I would probably leave, go a little bit wider as well, just to ensure that we have a nice snug fit. Now once I've got the cover placed on there, I'll turn it around and show you how it sits at the back, because this is a rather an upmarket cover, and it's got a nice locking mechanism that it utilises, rather than the Velcro strips, or even in some instances some of the cheaper ones just have simply a drawstring. Okay, so I'll finish putting this on and I'll give you a look at the back of it. So we've fitted the cover now. It fits on quite nicely. This ironing board cover is manufactured by an Australian company called Fits Like a Glove Ironing Board Covers. What I like about it is it fits well on the exterior. It wraps right around the ironing board and it's right out of the way, so there's nothing to impact the garment on the working side of the ironing board. You can see there's the crisscross locking mechanisms that they have here really allow the ironing board cover to be dragged in, and with no ripples whatsoever on the outside. A good product. The description to or the link to the product is in the description. Right, so there we have our ironing board setup. One thing I didn't mention right at the start of the video was make sure when you're cutting the felt out, have a good pair of scissors. It's quite thick, it can be quite difficult to cut out. So what I'll do, I'll just wrap that up. I'll have the next slide placed up. It'll have just wrap up the whole thing that I spoke about, moving through all the setup and the implements that you use to have a really good steam station. Make sure you leave any comments in the description if you want any additional details. I'll reply to any comments, and I'll also make sure that the next progressive videos will build on this one. Thanks for your time. G'day, thanks for watching the how to set up your ironing station for success. Just to consolidate the points, I'll just go through and make sure your ironing board is in good repair. The ironing board cover itself is not stained and is tight, so it has no wrinkles that can transfer onto the garment. The felt backing is preferred. A nice cushioning is beneficial, and it stops the actual metal from the ironing board from making its way imprint onto your garment itself. And also I find it's useful to remove the iron holder from the ironing board. Most of the ironing boards nowadays have an iron holder. I just felt that the main component of that doesn't need to be there. Okay, with the iron itself, the better the iron that you can afford is going to be a better item to use. So the cheaper irons, try and steer away from them. And make sure your iron has a steam setting. Steam works away the wrinkles very well. With the steam station that I use, I always try and use filtered water when I fill up the reservoir, and that just puts a little bit more longevity into your steam station and keeps all the minerals and that can be found in tap water out of your steam station. The steam station that I use does have a calcification setting where it does get rid of it, and you can empty it out as the indicator tells you to. The iron temperature, which is important, if your garment is a cotton, then you can set it on a high temperature. For those polyester items, a medium temperature is preferred. And once again, a good quality garment will have the ironing instructions on it, which will allow you to set your iron to suit. The water spray is imperative, so you must have a damp
garment, or the garment must be damp to allow you to get rid of the wrinkles properly. Simply just placing a hot iron on there will not do the task. Steam itself does do that. Water is a better aid to it as well. Now with starch, you can see here we've got the Iron Easy and also the Silver Star starch. This is the Iron Easy is a liquid starch. You just put that into mix that with water, and the starch here is the Silver Star starch is a powder. You mix that in with water as well. It can be quite difficult to find these, oddly enough. But if you do find them, you know where you purchase them, please let me know so I can get my own. The starch that I use is a good quality starch, but it's quite more expensive than these. I prefer using the Iron Easy and the powder starch over the aerosol starches that you can find. I think they're a little bit cheaper, and they leave a little bit more mess and flakiness when you're actually using them. So try and use these brands here where you need to use starch. Also, you have whenever you find a thread, this is definitely when you're using it on your uniforms as well. Whenever you find a thread, have an implement there to get rid of the threads as you find them when you're ironing. And finally, a marker pen. If you have a new garment, you need to, like I said previously, you have mark your sets, like your shirt, mark it as a number 1, for example, and the matching trousers, mark it as a number 1. Then you have a number 1 set. Whenever you throw it in the wash with others, you can always match your uniforms up, and that means they wear the same and they always look the same and they're not faded differently. It's a much more professional aspect. And your hanger. So once you've done the ironing, you want to make sure that you have a quality hanger to hang it up to. So use a specific one for your coat. And also, what I find is better if you use actual ones that are designed for hanging in the trousers, either by the waist or by the cuffs of the leg. Don't, if you can, move away from using the same coat that you use for your trousers and for your coat as well. The actual hanger does leave a line mark on your trousers. You can get around that by using a cardboard insert on top of there, but overall, if you can use a separate and specific hanger, that's a much better option. And once again, thanks for watching. Please, if you've got any comments in the comment section, and if you ask any questions, I'll get back to you as well. Thanks for watching. Bye now.